Spartanburg County, South Carolina has a unique and rich history, and through the years many things have paved the way for the growth and success of this part of upstate South Carolina. Whether it is the railroad making its way west from Charleston, South Carolina, or the explosion of the textile industry across the South, Spartanburg County has both suffered and prospered through the years. In this series, we will discuss these historical events and the people who had the vision and fortitude to make their crazy dreams our modern reality. Last time, on Spartanburg History, we discussed the first of the 4 local mills, known as Glendale Mill. On this episode, we continue our journey through the mills by stopping at our next location, which takes us approximately 10 miles west to what remains of what the locals refer to as Converse Mill. Unlike our last mill, there is much more to see here, as one of the buildings still stands today. In 1880, textile magnate Dexter Converse founded Clifton Manufacturing Company. This name may seem familiar to you, as he was also involved in the Glendale Mill that I covered previously. Converse named his operation Clifton for its position on a cliff overlooking the Packlet River. Where there is a mill, an abundant water source is always close by. Nestled along the Packlet River, Clifton Mills has had a place in this community and a role in the future of this area. Whether it's good or bad, there's no denying that the story of Clifton Mills is interesting and begs to be told. The history of Clifton Mills is steeped in hardship and tragedy, and there is no better example of this than the flood of 1903. In June of 1903, all 3 of the Clifton Mills, along with the large mill in Packlet, were swept away in the catastrophic flood from an unlikely confluence of weather systems over the Packlet River Valley that dropped what was estimated by the U.S. Geological Survey to be as much as 11 inches of water during the night of June 5th into June 6th. Beginning in the darkness before sunrise, word began to go out that the river was rising rapidly, but no one had cause for serious alarm until the head machinist at the Converse Mill found the wheel room and boiler rooms flooded and was forced to stop salvaging material when the water rose too quickly. Witnesses describe a wall of water 40 to 50 feet high, sweeping down the canyon, an event corroborated by the New York Times report on the flood, which described the second floor of the mill as being flooded to 4 feet deep. After the water receded, most of the buildings, the machine shop, smokestack, and over a dozen village cottages were washed downstream. In all, 65 people drowned in the villages of Converse, Clifton, and Packlet, including infants, newlyweds, and one entire family numbering 11 members. After such devastation, this small community reeled from its losses, but immediately pulled together and began repairing, healing, and eventually rebuilding what had been lost. Federal help was slow in arriving, so this resilient group of people did what needed to be done to move past this devastating course of events and into the future. The importance of learning from this tragedy and the need to remember those lost became the driving force behind the erection of the 1903 flood monument on November 15, 2011, which is located on the eastern side of the bridge that crosses Highway 29. Here, you can read about the flood and the people who lost their lives early that fateful June morning. Clifton Mills operated successfully for over 65 years, running multiple facilities at that time. The mill village surrounding it has seen better days, but that may be about to change, as plans are underway to revitalize the area and to build lofts inside the remaining buildings on site. The project, called the Lofts of Converse Mills, is expected to take about 16 months to complete. Black Point Investments plan to create 172 upscale apartments in the brick mill that's located on US Highway 29, 3 miles east of the new Spartanburg High School. When the project was first announced in May of 2017, developers anticipated having the project completed by late 2018 or early 2019, but that didn't happen. Developer Britt Weaver and Black Point Investments said that the underwriting process has taken longer than expected, but the project is now on track to hopefully start construction later in 2019. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Spartanburg History. Join us on the next episode where I will cover the next cotton mill on our journey, Beaumont Mills. Beaumont Mills is located off Pine Street in Spartanburg and has a rich history and an even greater future. From humble beginnings to a jewel of the revitalization effort for our city and its position in things to come, Beaumont Mills has withstood the test of time and shines brightly to light the way for what's next.